Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Grace Lutheran Church, where we are continuing our series on aging with grace. Last week, if you were not able to join us, we had Nicole Tanaz, a social worker who was talking about kind of getting things ready, navigating life. Today, we have our very own from our church, Mike Odell. Mike is a phenomenal cook. He's a good dad. He's actually a great dad. And he's a good man. I really have a lot of love and respect for him, and I think we're very blessed that you're here today to share your ministry with us. I'll let him tell you a little bit about himself, but just kind of give you a background. Mike is a certified nursing assistant, and he works for a company here in town that helps people that are in nursing homes / group homes. And he's got about 250 patients that he takes care of. And not personally, but he oversees all of their care. So he has a lot of experience. Come on in, everybody. You haven't missed anything at all. He's got a lot of experience working with families that are going through these transitions. He's got a lot of experience what's out there, what to look for, what to be aware of, things like that. So today, again, we have Mike Odell, certified nursing assistant, and we're going to be talking about group home stuff. But as you know, last week, I started off with a story, so I'm going to tell you a story today. Has anyone here ever heard of Colton, California? Yeah. Great city, huh? I mean, great city. I spent the day in Colton on Saturday. Went with my wife. She went to go see her stepmom, and I just kind of hung out for the day. And I got hungry in the afternoon, so there was this Pakistani restaurant right across the street from the hotel. And I felt called to the challenge, so I went to the Pakistani restaurant. And maybe that's why my stomach's hurting today. So I go and I start talking to the guy who's taking my order. His parents are from Pakistan. They moved to this country 21 years ago, and they started that restaurant. And this young man who's 20 grew up there in his parents' restaurant, and it's like a really neat story. And so I'm telling him what I want to order, and this lady walks in. She was a little rough around the edges. She had on some like yoga pants shorts that had $100 bills all over them. She was wearing socks and Crocs, a hoodie that covered up her face. And she walks in while I'm ordering, and she says, "Hey, didn't this used to be a pizza joint like a couple months ago?" Mind you, the guy just told me he's been there for 20-some years. And he said, "No, we've been here for quite a while." And she says, "Man, it smells good in here. I think I'm going to order some food." So she ordered her food. I had ordered mine, and I'm sitting at a table because I got it to go. She comes and sits next to me. Thanks. It's the glasses. She's homeless by choice. She told me. I said, "So what do you do? Where do you live?" She says, "I'm actually a traveler. I get a check every month, but I choose to live this way." And she was telling me how people treat her in her daily life, and how people discount her, how people disregard her, and she was a very competent. I mean, I had a real conversation with her. I wasn't talking to this goobly goop. And it was just fascinating. And when we were done, I said, "Okay, girl, you have a good day." And she fist bumped me, and she looked me right in the face, and she said, "Thanks for listening." Got my food, and I left. Let's pray. Gracious and holy God, we just thank you that you continue to bring us together as sisters and brothers in your name. Bless our time today. Bless the food that we've eaten. We give you thanks for Mike and just ask that every word he says will be be expressed by you, be ordained by you, and that you will open our ears and open our minds to hear the important messages that he will share today. Amen. All right. Don't mess it up.
I'm not gonna step up there though, because that's reserved for you guys. All right, you and Pastor Tim. Hi guys, how you doing? My name's Mike. I've been coming here since before we were here at the school, and then at Joy, and then at 51st Avenue. So I'm like that old piece of gum on your shoe. I didn't go anywhere. I'm still here. But I just wanted to talk to you guys about home care. I know a lot of people have questions, and when I'm out talking to people, because that's my job all week long, everybody has questions, and what about this, and what about that? And I look at them like, oh no, don't do that. That's a bad idea. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't send my parents there. And that's how I choose everything. But I just wanted to go over a couple things here just to where you can start the ball rolling. There's different ways to pay for home care, and there's different ways to get help for home care. And let's just start off with, how many veterans do we have here in the house? Okay. The VA has a program. It takes about 20 minutes to fill out the application. I have a whole stack of them in my car. We fill it out. I overnight it in about 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the government. You get an answer back, and it'll be anywhere. They'll pay for up to, I've seen as high as 140 hours a month for home care. And their home care is, they'll come in, help you with all your personal care, help you get in and out of the shower safely, help you get dressed if you got a bad back, take you to appointments, clean, sweep, mop, vacuum, dust, anything in the house. So that's a good option if you're a veteran or the spouse of a veteran. They'll help you there. The second way, oh yes, sir.
Okay, so the question is, and I'm going to repeat this so we can get it on the video, is how far back do you go if you're a veteran? I left the military in 1956, is the question. Would he still qualify?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. They'll go all the way back, okay? And that's a good thing. Most everybody's like, they give me a date of like 5 years ago, and I'm like, we'll see. We'll turn it in and see what they say.
Can we back it up a little bit and maybe even tell us, what is home health care? Can I have it at my house? Can I do it? Do I need to go to a facility? Can you just how do we even end up at the place where I'm going to be looking for home care?
That's a good thing. Let's start there. There's a difference between home health care and home care. So a lot of times you slip, you fall, you twist an ankle, you bruise a hip, you go to the hospital, they say, we're going to keep you overnight just to check you out, check your vitals. Okay, fine. The next day, doc comes in, nurse comes in, you checked out good, we're going to discharge you out. We'll give you a plan of care you can follow afterwards, where you can follow up with your primary care, and then if your insurance allows it, we'll send home home health care for you and PT, physical therapy. Okay, so that's where it starts. Home health care is anything with a doctor, a nurse, or an LPN. Home care is non-medical. Okay, so if I'm in your house and I'm working for my agency, I can come help you. Like I said, get dressed, get you in and out of the shower safely, take you to your appointments, cook, clean. I've even trimmed bushes in the backyard for this lady, or hung Christmas lights because I could do it without the ladder because we're not allowed on ladders. But that's the difference. And people get mixed up with that because insurance just tells you, well, home health's coming out. Well, home health's going to do their job, blood pressure, maybe IV, check your meds, do a med management thing. We don't do that. That's the difference between home care and home health. Okay? And that's a big one. That's a very big one because you don't want somebody. I had a gentleman, he had stitches all right here because he had hip surgery. And he goes, Mike, take a look. Like, okay. Yeah, boy, that's a lot of stitches. And he goes, can you guys clean those and take those out? I said, no, 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 no. I said, first off, you don't want me doing that because I got the needle nose pliers and we'll just start taking them out. Stick with the professionals, all right? And that's why we separate that. We do, my company, most people do, they do work with a home health agency that I would refer my family to. So, you know, that always works to get an opinion from somebody who's in the business, but that's the difference, okay? Any other questions about that, the difference between home health and home care? No? Okay.
Can you give us an example of how someone arrives at the point that they need home care?
It would be.
I like what you said, you know, they're in the hospitals,
Yeah.
you know, someone has a stroke.
That's what it is. That's exactly what
Yeah.
it is. It's something happens. You don't know how many times I've heard the story. I came down to visit from Minnesota, and I'm visiting my family. I don't feel good. I go in, and next thing I know, I'm having open heart because I got to get a triple bypass, and this is where I'm at. And my home is back there. You know, so they need help just to get strong enough so they can get back home. You know, or pneumonia in itself, probably not that bad, but boy, I've seen it take down people in a week where they were fine, and for the next 2 weeks, they can't get out of bed, you know? And now with COVID, everybody's different. I know it kicked my butt for 2 weeks. I couldn't even make it down the stairs and back up at the house without being winded. So, you know, everybody's different. But that's where you get to where you need somebody. Knee surgery. Big old dude like me going in for knee surgery, not that bad, just cartilage, had it twice. Some young lady comes in when I'm sitting there, come on, I'll help you to the restroom. Oh, no, that's okay. I'll do it myself. I don't need help like that. You know, so it can happen any number of ways, and it'll sneak up on you, you know, and that's why you just have to be prepared, informed, and that way you know what to ask and go from there. And, you know, that's why I'm here, just to give you a couple pointers. But, you know, like you said, it just comes up and gets you. And that's some of the ways you might need home care, all right? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to verify, you're home care or home health care, your company?
Oh, well, my company's home care, but I'm not here to promote the company. I'm just here to help you guys at the church. Yeah.
You are talking home care.
Yes, ma'am. Non-medical, okay?
And my hope is also that you could also give us some, because some information on group homes, because I'm sure you've seen some of those. You know, what do they cost? Where are they at? Question back here.
I also would like to know what the difference is between assisted living and memory care.
Beautiful question.
Okay.
All yours, Mike.
We'll start there.
Yeah,
So-
and I'm just going to repeat it for the tape. The question is, what's the difference between assisted living, memory care, independent? Beautiful questions. It's all yours, Mike.
With that question there, usually when you go to a facility, take anything and put winds behind it, that's a facility, okay? Sierra winds, whispering winds. And I say that because they're right here, really close to us, okay? Any place like that, Brookdale, Orchard Points, there's multiples of those on Bell Road, up on 67th and Happy Valley. They usually have a system where you go in, you can buy in, and then it has independent living, assisted living, and then long-term care, okay? And the difference is pretty self-explanatory. Independent living, you do everything. You just have an apartment there in the building. It's your apartment. You decorate it. If you want to cook, there's usually a kitchen in there. You can cook. If you want to go downstairs and eat at the fancy banquet hall, you can do that. And it's all included there. Then if something happens, maybe you just don't feel good. You don't feel right. You get checked out. Maybe you're forgetting a little bit more. Maybe one night you forget that the pot's left on the stove, and the smoke comes, the alarms go off, they come up, they check you out, and they said, maybe it's time you go down to assisted living. All right, so you go down to the next floor. There's somebody there if you need help. Let's say you get up one night and you get up out of bed and you're a little like this and you fall and you hit your head. They come in, they check on you. There's an aide there or an LPN or an RN. They come down and check you out, make sure you're okay. They come in and check on you periodically throughout the day. They can even do med management for you and make sure you're taking your pills, because maybe you forgot to take your water pill or your blood pressure pill, and they'll be there to help you with that. Next step down for that is you need 24-hour eyes on people checking you every 3 hours, making sure you're okay, you're safe, you don't need anything. That's the difference. It's usually a tiered system like that, and a lot of facilities around here have them. While we're on that subject, and I'm going to bounce around here, facilities. Everybody knows somebody that's been in one. Maybe you know a couple people that have been in one. I tell people, if you're going to go check out a facility or you're thinking about that, you go at 3 different times during the day. You go at breakfast time, when all HE double hockey sticks is breaking loose. You go at lunchtime, and you go at dinner time, or just after dinner, probably about 6. Most dinners are at 4, 4:30. You go check them out all different times. You see the staff. Are they running around? Is there only one person for 3 halls? And how is one person, because I've been there, in charge of 30 people? It doesn't happen. Somebody's got a light on, they need to get up and go to the restroom. Somebody's got a light on, I got one shoe on, one shoe off. Somebody's got a light on, I'm going to get out of bed, and I got a busted hip. So you want to look at things like that. So that way you can just see how the facility operates throughout the day. Because it might be a great facility, but if it's got aides or caregivers or staff that's not, following the mission of the facility, then it's probably not a good place to be. And you have to do your diligence and do your, your pre-work to find that stuff out. Any other questions? Well, yes, ma'am. Oh, yeah.
Can you talk about pricing? Just repeating the question.
Yeah.
Talk about pricing.
Pricing is different at every facility, and you're going to buy in, and it's different. It's like buying a car, all right? You can, and I'll use my analogy because it's the way I work. You could go buy, oh man, I don't want to offend anybody, but well, you can go buy a Cadillac, and you're going to get Cadillac service and Cadillac quality. You can step down and you can get a Chevy. You're going to get Chevy, and then you're going to step down, and I hope nobody drive one of these now. You can get a Yugo, okay? And you'll get that service and that quality. That's what you have to have. And the best thing to do is to ask somebody that knows, Ask somebody, go in there. If you're going to the facility, and ask somebody. Say, you see the person running around, sweating, pouring down their head, trying to help. How is it here? Look at me. This should tell you all you need to know about having your loved one here. So that's just an easy way to go.
I want to jump in here because when it comes to money, people that I think have a hard time understanding what money gets you in this world of elder care. I visit a lot of group homes, and maybe you can talk about the difference between a facility and a group home as well. But I was just telling someone this morning, I went to go visit a patient yesterday in a group home. He's in a 10 by 10 bedroom. He's on a plastic mattress with a fitted sheet somewhat on it. He's laying on top with all of his clothes on and a jacket. And there's another bed in the room for the next person that's going to become his roommate. Okay? I'm thinking they're probably paying close to $2,000 a month for that bed.
Yep. Give or take.
Just for that bed. Probably does include food, but that is not a place I would ever send my parents. Okay? On the other hand, there's a place kind of close around here. Beautiful. They got a chef there. They got people that come in and do the activities, someone from the VA that comes in and does stuff, okay? Beautiful. $8,000 a month. Both of those are group homes. And
Yeah.
so that's just the experiences that I've had out there and some of that. I don't know if you want to add more to that.
It's yes, sir.
Is that group home that you're talking about, is that like 2
I've seen them both. I've seen as many as 3 beds in a 10 by 10 bedroom. And I've seen, what Mike was describing, the Cadillac version where you kind of have your own
You got
apartment.
one room, it's your room, let's say it's the master bedroom of the house, and most of them are in a house that's been renovated. And you got your own TV, maybe you even have your own bathroom in there, your own shower, so you don't have to use this one shower that everybody's gonna be using. And with those, same with facilities. They're gonna all be comparable. It comes down to the staff, all right? No matter where you go. You could go to the most expensive place or rock bottom 99-cent hamburger place. If the staff's good, no problems. But if you got a staff that is, let's say, not happy with their working conditions and their life, then it could be have a bad outcome. And that's true with anywhere. You go to McDonald's one year, you get your order right. Next time you come through to somebody else, and they gave you a filet-o-fish and and apple slices. So, you just have to do your homework with that. But the group homes, there are some group homes, and for whatever reason, I don't know if you've gone out and looked, people from Romania have come over, and they own a lot of the houses in here. So, and I didn't understand it. I still don't understand it, but they do a good job, most of them. Some of them, their accent is a little rough, and maybe the food might be a little different, and that takes time to get used to. And that's true with any facility if you go to, any facility, because if you're used to beans and rice and tacos, and you go there and they got beef stroganoff or chicken fricassee, and you're like, whoa, what is this? So that takes getting used to. But that's just something you got to look at when you're out shopping, all right? But the group homes are usually less expensive, more one-on-one care, because they'll have one caregiver for, let's say, anywhere from 2 to 6 people. It could be more depending on how many beds they have in the house. And if you go to a facility, usually it's one caregiver for at least 15 people. At least 15 people. It could be more, like I said. So the wait time, safety, all that plays into it for that, okay? I'm sure you got the big fancy facility with a library that you'll never go to because you don't like the people there, or the big banquet eating place because the food's no good, or the person that you're sitting with at your table talks too much or always talks about something that you don't care about. And I bring this up because I saw families all the time bring their loved one in, and we check them in, and, oh, you got so many people here. You'll talk, and it'll be fun, and they got activities, and they leave, and he goes, why am I here? And I said, well, sir, I said, just to keep you safe, and then people come up, and he's like, oh, yeah, I don't feel like talking to you. And he ends up just being by himself most of the time. So, like I said, it's family preference there, where you want to go and what you want. And I've seen other people, they thrive in places like that because they got billiards, they got shuffleboard, they'll take them to the track, they'll take them to Cabela's, they'll take them wherever, So you just have to shop and be, proactive in that. Any other questions? No? All right. I wanted to get back to this different ways. No, that's okay. It's okay. You throw me side curveballs there. The VA was one way to help pay for home care. Second way is the state, Arizona Long-Term Care System, all right, All-Tex. It's there to help, but I'm going to be honest with you, if you got money, and because they're going to hunt you down, that's the first question they want to know. Do you got an offshore account? Do you got this? Do you got that? Usually your house, it's not included, all right, so you can take that off the board. But they want to make sure, like I said, that you're not a millionaire trying to get care from the state for free. So they'll check you out. You fill out the application. Once again, it usually takes about a month to get something back from them. And I've seen that too, anywhere from 6 hours a week all the way up to 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week that the state will pay for it, okay? Then you're going to have somebody coming out every month to check on you. Then it goes to every 3 months, and then once a year, just to make sure everybody's okay. And in that instance, with the All-Tex, you can have a family member get hired on at a business like this one or any other ones, Synergy or whatever. They'll get hired on. They can be your caregiver. They'll get paid a salary, and That way, everybody, they have money to come in while they're taking care of you, and everybody's happy, because usually, that's a good thing.
Question, Mike. We talked a little bit about Altex last week, very
Okay.
briefly.
Okay, good.
But I think, how poor do you have to be to qualify for Altex?
I don't have a number, okay, because I've never asked, because, I tell people, well, Mike, I said, look, it's none of my business how much money you make. I'm just here to make sure you get care.
Yeah.
And I tell people, they go, well, Mike, why you got to come out here? I says, well, I got to come out here to check on you. Because even if it is family taking care of you, Synergy, you, we don't want to end up on Channel 3 because somebody was left in a closet for 2 weeks and not fed. And I hate to say it like that, but it happens. It happens all the time. We see it on the news, we just saw it last night on the news that a son flipped out and did something to his parents, So that happens. The pressure of family it can build up, So that's why they come out and check on it.
And I get my other part of that is a lot of people think that if they just don't have enough money, that Altex can kick in and they're going to be okay. But my understanding is that you can have like no money in the bank. You can't be living on your pension from the railroad. It all has to be gone before you qualify for that. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
No, you don't have to. If you're getting money in from wherever you're getting it, just fill out the paperwork. You don't know unless you fill it out. I don't care what you heard at the coffee shop, at church, wherever. Take the time, fill out the application, and send it in. Yes, sir.
Mike, when I went onto their website,
Yeah.
it said you couldn't make more than $2,000 a month.
Okay. Well,
That was on the website.
there. Yeah. Well, then there you go, right there, $2,000 a month. And there are companies, lawyers that help you get to a point if you have money set aside where they can help you place it to where you can qualify. All right. Yes. It is within their eyes, so yes, ma'am.
Qualify for long-term care? Can it be anywhere, in a group home or in a facility?
Yes, you can. Yes, yep. You can go. They even have long-term care facilities that take Arizona long-term care. All right, so that's a facility that takes that payment from the state, and then you can have, if say you're living in a facility and you signed up for it, that might be tricky there, because if you can afford to pay for the facility, then they're going to say, why can't you afford to pay for care? See, so that kind of negates that. But with the family, a lot of times, if a daughter, a son, a niece, a nephew, they're going to step up and say, yeah, I'll take care of Grandpa, but I got bills. That's why I said they can go get a job for a care company and help take care of them, and then they get money, and the loved one gets the care that they deserve, and need. That's why I said that. But it's another thing to think of when you're thinking about paying for home care, right? Next thing is the long-term care insurance. I've dealt with a lot of them, Genworth, bankers, all the time. It's like life insurance. You don't need it until you need it, and then you hope to God that, it's going to do what it said it did. Most of them, they do. They take a little bit of time to pay. That wallet, that hand doesn't want to go in that wallet and pay for it, even though you've paid for it for 30 years. But once it gets started, after most of them have an elimination period where you have to pay for an X amount of days, 90 days out of your pocket, then it kicks in. But most of them, they do their job. They help pay for the care up to a certain amount a day for daily limits. And that way you can go out and hire somebody to come in and help take care of you, and that'll help pay for it. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, well, a lot of people have had it for 30, 40 years, like I said, you'd have to check into that. Well, and I tell everybody when I'm out there too, is they go, Mike, whoa, that's a big bill every day if I have a home care company come out. And I said, you're right, it is. I said, well, let's cut that down. I said, do you got a niece? Do you got a nephew? Do you got a neighbor? He said, well, my old work buddy, he said he'd come by every morning and shoot the breeze with me and have a coffee with me. I said, okay, when? He said he'd be here at 7 every morning to wake my butt up. I said, okay, get him in here from 7 to 9. So you get up, you need help, he comes in, he helps you. And I said, what about after that? Well, my niece has a break from college from this time to this time. She said she'd come by these 3 days, Tuesday, Thursday. Okay, well then now you got that. So let's say now you only have to pay for someone to come in for 4 hours from 4 to 8 to check on you, make sure you got something to eat for dinner and get you ready for bed. And that saved you a truckload of money, you know? And I get it, the friend and the niece, they're gonna have their own things that they're gonna need help with that maybe they can't come that day. But for the most part, they're gonna be there. And if you need to fill in with somebody, well then hire somebody. You know, and I know it's easier said than done sometimes, I get it, but, you know, and when you're hiring somebody, when I go to Fry's and I'm shopping and I'm going to buy something to clean my windows, it's going to have the blue juice and it's going to have Windex. Since, again, I'm going to buy the blue juice because it's cheaper. You can't do that with home care because you got to be safe. All right, there might be somebody, I don't know if you guys remember the old boards like in Fry's, you go up and pull the tab off of, it had bookkeeper, lawn guy, painter, you go pull the little tabs off. You can't do that for home care, you know, because, and I'm not gonna scare you, but I wanna tell you that even in my family, we had people, like I said, nurses taking checks out of the back of the checkbook, writing them to themselves, or somebody taking money out of the billfold, or the biggest story I ever heard is they took roasts out of the freezer, you know, or hey, my car needs tires and my kids and this and that, and then they buy tires for them. You just got to be, you know, just aware of things like that. Medicine, you know, you got people who are taking, stealing your pain pills and stuff like that. And that can happen with anybody, but if you have a company behind them, usually they're going to be bonded and insured. You know, hey, my TV's missing. How much was it? Let me find out who was there. It's going to get replaced, you know. Or if I get hurt, if you hire somebody off the street that maybe, you know, Susan knew this lady who knew a lady that could help you. Okay, well, that lady comes in, falls, slips, breaks her ankle. Now she's coming back to you to sue you. You know, and I've heard stories. All this is stories that I've heard when I'm out. I could write a book, yeah, but I won't. But it's just to be careful, that's all, and be informed. You know, ask people questions. Ask people like me. You know, I'll give you all the information you need and help you in any way. I think, oh no, I wouldn't go there. You know, don't go there. Stay away from that place. All right. Let me see what else I got down here. Employees, background checks, that's another reason. The background checks. You know, people you hire off the street, make sure you do a background check on them or something. You can go online and do it, okay? You can buy a drug test at the store and have them come in and take the drug test too. Now, could they be clean for 2 days and then, you're right, they could, all right? And they could be not a bank robber or anything like that, and then after they get in, you know, but it might give you a little peace of mind just to do a check like that.
On that thing, I would say, because of the work I do with the hospice, I have a DPS fingerprint card, okay? And you can get those, you just get the paperwork online. You go somewhere, they take your fingerprints, they send it into DPS, they run it through the whole system, and for 6 years I have this card issued by the state of Arizona. And you know, when someone's asking me for my credentials, I always feel great when I can say, oh, and I've got my DPS fingerprint card as well. You know, it just says to them, I have absolutely nothing to hide. So those are some of the things that you can look for out there as well.
Just another level.
Yeah,
of checks.
What I did is I basically background checked myself for everyone. Yeah.
Not that it was needed, right?
Hey, man, stay out of my business, bro.
Yes, ma'am.
You have a telephone number?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, I got cards. I can give you my card, and you just call me anytime. Call my cell phone. Like,
Not on this.
oh, no. Yeah. Yeah, I got my cards up here. It's a business card, but just call the cell phone. That'll go to me and not the office. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
If you contract with a home care agency, and I don't know if yours is different than the ones I dealt with in Minnesota, or not, but they have minimums
Mhm.
of how many hours a week,
Yep.
not 7 days a week, so
You should. And
you should have to sign, make sure they have a way to get into the house.
mhm.
If the person they're giving care to can't get up. I found at first, when home care was enough, that it took a while to find the right combination of home caregivers.
Mhm.
Kind of change over, and that was kind of hard on my sister.
Mhm. Yes, that all plays into it. Yep.
She was just saying, I'm going to just repeat it for the tape, is that there's, totally forgot what you said. Yes, that was the thing, is if you do contract with someone outside or even with the company, they may come in and say, we can only do this for a minimum of 20 hours a week or something like that.
So I will tell you what I tell people when I go into one of my proposed clients' house. I tell them, first off, which you should ask. There is no licensure for the state of Arizona for home care companies. All right, they can have a business license, and that's what we have, but there is no agency that oversees to make sure each home care company has a license. Okay, so that's the first thing. Ask if they're bonded. If something's missing, broke, money, jewelry, coins, are they insured? Are they your workers? So that way if something happens, okay? Then you get into, okay, what's the hourly rates? Everybody's different, okay? Everybody. Usually it's a 3-hour, 4-hour minimum, okay? And I tell people, well, Mike, I only need 2 hours or 1 hour. I get it. But there's no way I would be able to find someone to go out and work for 1 hour. They're trying to make 40 hours a week. And I tell them, possibly we could go 2 hours if we could find somebody, And so that comes into it. A weekly minimum, some companies have that. We need at least 20 hours. We need at least 30 hours. That's up to you. If you're going shopping, that's one of the things you look for. What company wants what, and then look them up for reviews. And I tell people, I said, look, we're not perfect. I'm not going to stand here and tell you, that this company's perfect. I said, but we try hard, and people have the right intentions, and our owner backs us, and he has a mission statement for a reason. That's what I tell them. Prices, they're all over, okay? Most of them are going to be mid-30s, okay? I heard someone this morning at one of the meetings I was at, they were high 40s. And I looked at her and I said, well, good luck. I said, because I know, well, we're from back east. Well, okay, all right, well, good luck, because people don't want that. You can't afford that. I'm not going to go buy Supreme gas to put in my old truck every time I go fill up. I'm going to get, once again, the blue juice, the cheapest gas I can get. But you have to be mindful of that, because you don't want to get that quality if I got a good price. Yeah, but that person's going to show up half lit, late, leave early, and fall asleep on the couch when they're supposed to be paying attention when somebody needs help getting up. Oh, the phone. Yeah, don't even get me started on the phone, all right? Yeah, that's the worst invention ever, but that's just my own opinion. Any other questions, guys? No? Yes?
You end up signing a contract with a company like yours for a length of time, or is it just?
Usually, and I say usually, I'll say for this company that I work for, there is no contract. It's an agreement. And I tell them, we ask for 48-hour notice. Well, why, Mike? What if you're not doing the job? I want to stop it right now. And I said, I get that. And if that's the case, then we'll stop it right then and there. But a 48-hour notice gives us time to take that caregiver and try and find part of their 40-hour week with somebody else, okay? And it's just an agreement, because you don't want to be saddled up to a timeshare, like that, with that type of contract. And it's most of the companies, it's put a credit card on file, put a voided check on file, you get the invoice, the following day it's billed off of one of those two. Well, why can't I just give them money? 1, 2, 3. No. We can't have a caregiver that works a 10-hour day would be walking around with a couple hundred, maybe $1,000 in their pocket, so you can't have that. But usually it's like that. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Oh, no, I'm an employee. I'm an employee. Anytime you hear independent contractor, that means they're just there on their own. And that usually means there's no insurance for them. There's no background checks. There's no drug tests. So you're just inviting, what I would tell people, what I would tell my mom and dad, you're inviting trouble into that house. Yes, sir.
Hire somebody like that as an independent, they become an employee under the current law, having the whole tax, that becomes a pain.
Yeah, unless they're an independent contractor, then you're just paying them, and it's up to them to pay their taxes and everything. That's where that comes in at. That's why usually when people say, well, Mike, I found somebody over here that's, you're only going to pay them $12 an hour. I said, okay, good luck. Good luck, because something's going to happen. I can guarantee it. Something's going to happen. It's not going to be right. And then you're stuck holding the bag at the end.
But there are people out there, say such as you, that are could be independent contractors.
It could be, yes, sir. Yeah. Yep.
My point being is that you have to be careful in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
If you pay them over so much in a year, you've got to have
Yep.
supposed to withhold taxes. It becomes a real pain.
Yep. And I wouldn't want that burden on me. I'd want to pay the money and let them worry about that, at their business. Any other questions, guys? All right. Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to bring you the microphone.
Do you save money doing home care or home health care over being in a facility?
Most of the time, yes, you do, because you're not paying that, I'll say, exorbitant amount to get into that facility, and that's usually what it is, and it varies from facility to facility. All right, they want you to buy in, and that right there just tells you, okay, give us the house, the 2 cars, the dog, we want it all, and then we'll keep you here, until the home care. Like I said, you can shop and you can get agencies. There's different agencies. They're right there on 99th and Bell. There's probably 3 right there at that corner. And then we're at 105th and Bell. So they're all right there, so you can shop and look. And like I said, go Google it, review it, see what's on, to see what they say, what the clients say, what the employees say, and go by there.
There's another thing just in relation to that I want to add. There is an entirely growing market out there for elder care. Geriatric realtors, geriatric personal trainers. And these are individuals that can sit down with you and say, okay, what is it that we want to do? Where do we want to end up? If you've got the time and the resources and you've got to, work that stuff through, there is a growing professional class of individuals that are starting to do this for a living. Okay? It's not like calling a regular realtor yet, but if it's something you're interested in, start looking at, like geriatric realtors, geriatric services that are provided that are tailored specific for elder care. And they work with the kids and things like that as well.
Yep.
Okay.
They get your information, and then they go looking for facilities that match what you're looking for. And they're out there, home care locators and things like that. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you talked about long-term care insurance and Altec covering your services.
Yes.
You talked about the Altec or the Arizona Long-Term Care System and the long-term care insurance covering the home care. Medicare?
No.
No?
No, I get that a lot. Yeah, it doesn't. Medicare or your own personal health insurance, no, they leave that out. You know, they might send, typically when you get out of the hospital, and I just use that for an instance, because you go in for something, whatever, pneumonia, whatever, and you're in there, then you go home, insurance will pay, well, they always say, well, I got insurance. They're going to pay for the home health aide to come in here. I said, yeah, well, they're going to come in for about 2 weeks, and then they're going to cut it off because the insurance just won't pay any longer than that. Same with physical therapy. They'll come in for 2 weeks. They'll see you progressed, and then they'll leave, and they'll give you a printout with 10 pictures on here and 10 instructions, and they'll circle the 4 they want you to do twice a day, 5 days a week. And then it's up to you to do it safely, you know, and not get hurt again. And so that's where, you know, people say, well, you might have really good insurance, but it's insurance, and we all know that they're not going to pay forever, you know. So that's just something to think about too.
Is it fair to say that insurance is one of the big drivers of these decisions that people are forced to make?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have long-term care insurance, then you're faced with 2 options:
Yeah.
paying privately to a company, or trying to jigsaw it together with family.
Yeah.
If you got a big enough family that can do it,
Yeah.
and that's where the problem comes in, because usually I hear it all the time. Well, mom and dad will go to bed at 8, and we'll roll the dice until they get up at 6 in the morning or 4 in the morning, you know, and pray that we don't get a phone call. And that's what it comes down to. And I get it. We're not all rich that can afford to pay that money. And you make the choices that you have to make, and you deal with it. You know, you do the best you can. So, yeah. Anybody else? All right.
Wow, he answered all your questions.